Vikings game plan continues. We are in deep stretch, and it is now time for the winning formula, featuring Vikings insider Mike Wobschall from Vikings.com and Ron Johnson from Fox 9's Vikings Game Day Live, and I'm Paul Allen. We have some very pertinent topics to hit into another Vikings road game, this time against the New York Giants as they take on, well, a familiar foe. Former Vikings Offensive Coordinator Pat Shurmur is head coach of the New York Giants. That coming up a little later. This first, his quarterback Daniel Jones. Now, he'll be playing in his third game. He's a rookie from Duke, and he's very, very talented. How good do you think he is?
Oh, he's really good. He makes the throws. The biggest thing, though, is he's helping the defense stay off the field. I think that's the only difference between him and Eli. He's prolonging drives. They are without Saquon Barkley. But other than that, he's a really good quarterback.
David Cutcliffe was his coach at college, very close with the Manning family, Eli, Peyton, and their father, Archie. He is the mold that the Giants are familiar with from their time with Eli, and it's the mold that they want going forward. They've made the switch from Eli to Daniel Jones. We saw Pete Bursich break him down earlier in the show, and we heard Mike Zimmer talk glowingly about him earlier this week. This is exactly what the New York Giants want out of a quarterback in terms of his profile and how he plays the game. We're going to get a good look at it. Now, the Vikings fared very well against Eli Manning in his career. Hopefully, they do the same with Daniel Jones.
Now, with the measurables, we saw that he's 6'5". I mean, he's big and he's fast. So you know more about football than us, Ron. You played at a high level, Division I college football. When a quarterback is big and he's fast and clearly he's talented, what challenges does that pose?
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing against the Eagles and watching Donovan McNabb, 6'3", big, can move. That's the key, is that a guy that can move, he can get outside the pocket, but he's tall enough and strong enough to make the throws down the field with an arm. So he has a big arm, but he is mobile. So he's not a statue like Eli. That's the biggest difference. Eli, you can guarantee 7 to 12 yards. He's going to be back in the pocket. Daniel Jones, he's going to move around, and we know Pat Shurmur likes his play action.
Now, for the second topic, how do we get the offense back on track? This is a tricky question because, as Wobby would say, on or off TV or radio, you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, okay? So let's recognize the Minnesota Vikings were averaging 26 points a game. Then they ran into Khalil Mack. They scored 6, and that knocked it down to 21. So, Ron, we begin with you. Best route of attack to getting the offense back on track?
Honestly, do what you do best. I mean, that's the Bears. They're going to be the best defense they're going to face this year. But I would like to see some simple passes, some hitches, some slants. A lot we saw in 2017 from Shurmur. Get Adam Thielen, get Kirk Cousins going early, let them get comfortable, and then run the ball, and then go deep. You can't just start off with your first pass being a deep ball. If it's a trick play and he's wide open, it's going to work. But if it doesn't look good to Kirk, he's not going to throw it. And I think that's the thing. You have to get him going so he feels comfortable throwing the ball.
Love it. Wobby?
I like that too. I think that's a good idea, and the Vikings could employ that type of passing attack. That's what teams do to the Vikings, to neutralize the pass rush and to get things going against our defense, which is very good. I think you have to be comfortable with who you are if you're the Vikings and you're the offensive coaches. Yeah, you're facing criticism because you're not hitting deep shots and being explosive, but I don't think you can just snap your finger and become a team like that. I think you have to work through it. So who are the Vikings? They are a team that's backbone is its defense, and they're a ball control offense with the leading rusher in the NFL going into last week's game against Chicago. Now I believe he's second now. I don't think you should stray from that. You should be who you are, and then good things will follow. The Vikings need to get back to that, and they have an opportunity to do that against the Giants because, with all due respect to the Giants, they don't have the defensive personnel that the Bears have.
Pat Shurmur, offensive coordinator here 2017, the Minneapolis Miracle season. Pat is a quality offensive mind. So Shurmur offense, Zimmer defense, this is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. I mean, these two guys were in meeting rooms together for 2 years, bouncing ideas off of each other and giving each other tips on how to overcome certain obstacles. So they know each other well and they're friends. I think that Coach Shurmur made a good point. He's like, they probably know more about me than I know about them. Zim also made a good point. He's like, well, Pat was in our building 2 years ago. So I would say he probably knows about everything a guy could know about us. So I think maybe this whole Shurmur-Zimmer thing is super interesting to how the game will flow, but I don't think one has a big advantage over the other. I think it's an equal opportunity advantage for both sides.
I disagree. I'm going to say Shurmur has the advantage.
What?
Because his offense has changed since he went to the Giants. It's not the same personnel. It's not the same guys. I'm going to say Zimmer's defense has not changed. He still does the double A gaps. He still runs his cover 4 stuff, his man stuff. Shurmur knows that. So what is Shurmur going to do? He's going to make sure that Daniel Jones understands everything. He also knows who to attack and how to attack them. He knows Xavier Rhodes and his deficiencies because everybody talks about it in the meeting rooms. He knows what Trey Waynes is a sucker for, so he's going to throw that trinket out there. I think Shurmur has a little bit of an advantage, but also Zimmer can now play around with his defense knowing that Shurmur knows. So it's like chess. One move comes, you got to be prepared for the next move.
Yeah, but bottom line, and this is something Pat Shurmur used to say when he was here, and this is not to disrespect coaches, but this game is not about plays, it's about players.
Correct.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I do agree with that, and a key player for Pat Shurmur will not be on the field, Saquon Barkley.
Correct.
And that's a big bummer for Mr. Shurmur. I think, though, we need to cut up what Ron just said and put it in the meeting room for Zim, because Zim's team's going to be favored on the road coming off a loss. He doesn't like that. He wants to be the underdog, so I think we should take that and give it to Zim.
All righty, go Vikings against the New York Giants, looking for their first road win of the season. Both teams are 2-2. For Wobby and Ron Johnson, I'm Paul Allen. On behalf of all of us here at the TCO studios and with the Vikings Entertainment Network, thanks for watching Vikings Game Plan.